faithful Niner Empire. What's good? What's good? What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And once again, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of What's Good with your host, yours truly, Jay in the Bay. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to Jay in the Bay on YouTube. You can follow me on IG, Twitter. I even have a TikTok. Check me out there. If I can put a smile on your face, I think that's an accomplishment, and I'll hang that up as an accomplishment for the day. But also, make sure you subscribe to the 49ers Cutback. Make sure you check them out on YouTube, IG, and Twitter as well. But thank you all for joining us on the next episode of What's Good with Jay in the Bay. Now, obviously, I didn't anticipate the 49ers being 2-3 heading into the bye week. I definitely thought we would win those first two games on the road against Philly and Detroit, but I did not anticipate us losing the next three games. And very disappointing, that's for sure. Very disappointing. But the season is still young. I think this bye week came at, I think, a good time. Normally, you like to have the bye week in the middle of the season, around at least week 9, maybe week 10. But, we had some injuries going into the bye week with, obviously, with George Kittle, the biggest name. I hear Jermichael Hasty, his practice window has opened, so he's going to be practicing. And I think the guys needed a break away from the game. I mean, wouldn't you say so, Faithful? Losing 3 straight games, I think it's time to go on vacation for a little bit. Don't think about football. And I think this allows the players to heal up, rest up, feel refreshed, and also for the coaching staff to be able to plan for the Colts. And the coaching staff has had 2 weeks to plan for the Colts. And I am super excited for the 49ers to be playing at home, in front of the home crowd on Sunday Night Football prime time in front of the world. I mean, what could be better? And I think we will get our first win at home this year. But Jay, I'm sure you're probably thinking, Jay, who are the Indianapolis Colts? Well, they're led by Carson Wentz. Obviously, he was with the Eagles last year. And I think the Eagles beat us last year at Levi. Terrible memory. But Carson Wentz, he's been playing pretty well this year. I believe he has about 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. So he's playing disciplined football. He's not turning over the ball. So he's giving his offense a chance to compete every time he's out there on the field. The Colts have 2 pretty good running backs. I think that's the strength of their team. The running backs, they're led by Jonathan Taylor. He's a pretty good running back. I believe he's averaging about 4.7 yards per carry. He's a pretty good back. Now, the Colts are without their best offensive lineman in Quentin Nelson, one of the best guards to ever come out of, I believe he went to the University of Notre Dame, but one of the best offensive guards to come out these last few years in the NFL draft. He will be out this week, I believe due to a foot injury, but he's not playing. So the Colts offensive line will be weakened by that. And obviously that's a plus for the 49ers. Now, the Colts wide receivers and tight ends, they have solid tight ends in Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox. Those are Carson Wentz's, security blankets. When he needs a throw on a small or on a short third down, he's going to go to those guys. And that's definitely something that the 49ers will have to watch out for. And of course, they have Michael Pittman Jr. I don't know if you heard of him, Faithful, but the guy is 6'4". He's fast. He is the Colts' best receiver, and I think their best playmaker on the offensive side of the ball. So that would be an interesting matchup, whether it's Mosley or Josh Norman. I prefer Mosley to be on him, but it seems like Mosley sticks to a certain side of the field. He doesn't follow every receiver. So that's who to watch out for, the Colts running game and also their wide receivers. And I think if we slow down the running game and their wide receivers, I think we'll be just fine in this game. And I'm excited for this game. It's the bye week. Players, as I mentioned before, have time off. The coaching staff has more time to scout the team. They know their weaknesses, their strengths. And I'm excited for this game. You know, Jimmy G will be back under center. I know some people don't like that. But, you know, at this point, Trey Lance is still hurt, unfortunately. And I would rather see Jimmy G than Nate Sudfeld. So we're riding with Jimmy. And let's get into Jay and the Bay's 5 big things. Let's get it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5 big things.
All righty. So, number 1, we have to start fast on both sides of the ball. One thing that has been frustrating to watch about the 49ers offense this year is we just started off slow. Outside of the Detroit game, we've just started off really slow. And outside of course, one series versus the Seahawks, this offense has just, you know, it just hasn't been effective. For whatever reason, you know, Jimmy and for that matter, Trey, when he's been in there, they haven't been accurate with throwing the ball. That's been a problem. The offensive line has been a little bit shaky. And Shanahan, you know, we got to get back to basics, baby. We got to get back to running the ball, winning the time of possession. And I think if we do that, we'll put ourselves in great position to, you know, win the game. And we got to score in the first quarter. We got to score in the second quarter. We have to get a lead up on the Colts. And I think that will be great. And also, of course, on defense, we have to, and we've been doing a good job on this the last few games. The defense has been doing an excellent job with forcing 3 and outs, especially early on in the game. But we can't expect him to continue to do that for the duration of the game. That's not how football works most of the time. The offense is going to have to pick up their end, and I think they will do that against the Colts on Sunday Night Football in front of the world. And that's one of the biggest things. We got to start fast on both sides of the ball. Number 2, we have to create a turnover on defense. And I don't know if you guys realize this, Faithful, but we only have 2 turnovers so far on defense. And that's just putrid. That's just terrible. And speaking of turnovers, the Colts, that is one benefit, or I should say that is one strength of the Colts defense is they create a lot of turnovers. I believe they're top 5 in turnovers. So they are a defense that will punch that ball out. They are a defense that will intercept the ball. And that's something that the 49ers will have to do. You know, Dre Greenlaw, he did a great job week 1. And, you know, I don't know if I should say this name on the air, but Dante Johnson, you know, don't kill the messenger. But Dante Johnson, I know people, you know, don't like Dante Johnson. Some people wonder why is he still on the team, but hey, Dante Johnson, he punched that ball out. He forced a fumble against the Arizona Cardinals, and we need more of our other defensive players to do the same thing. Obviously, in creating a turnover, it's one less opportunity for the opposing offense, and it flips the field position for our offense. We create a turnover, we get the ball, and it gives another opportunity for our offense to score. So it's simple. Create a turnover on defense. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a fumble, interception, do what you got to do, but let's create a turnover on this Colts offense. Number 3, special teams be special. I don't know about you guys, Faithful, but the Brandon Ayuk show experiment at punt returner, it just ain't working. He has not been explosive for whatever reason. And shout out to the 49ers Cutback. They had a great video. I believe it was a live stream talking about, you know, Brandon Ayuk and his struggles so far. And they had mentioned that he had put on a little bit of weight, and that could be a reason why he's not as explosive as he was last year. Great segment, 49ers Cutback. I learned a lot from that. And, you know, I just don't think Brandon Ayuk needs to be at the punt return position. He hasn't excelled there. He hasn't been explosive. Put somebody else back there. I don't care who it is, just anyone other than Ayuk. And kick return, I think it's the same thing. You know, Mitchell had a nice kick return. I believe that was against Green Bay at the end of the first half. But we need our special teams to flip the field position, allow this offense to have less yards to get to our end zone. And that means having good kick returns. Let's try to get to the 40. Let's try to get to the 50 instead of just going to the 20 or the 25. And punt return, I don't care. As I mentioned, I don't care who it is. Just get someone else back there. We need someone else who can be explosive. I mean, we haven't had an explosive kick return, punt return since Ted Ginn. I mean, that's way too long ago. Way too long ago. So I don't care who it is. Get someone else back there. And Mitch Wisnowski, shout out to you. You did win the special teams player of the month. I believe that was in October? I think that was in October. It was either October or September, one of the 2 months, but he's been excellent. Hell, we even had him kicking, for Robbie Gold. So Mitch Wisnowski, keep doing what you're doing. And we need the punt return and kick return game to, need to level up. Number 4, I mean, this is what you guys have all been wanting. This is what I've been hearing. This is what Twitter has been saying. But it's funny. Twitter is very funny because when Shanahan doesn't run the ball, hey, we got to run the ball, man. I don't know what you're doing, Shanahan. You should be fired. Get this guy out of here. And then when we do run the ball and Jimmy doesn't pass, hey, we got to throw the ball. Put the ball in Jimmy's hands. So I feel we need to run the ball down the Colts' throat. They are an average team. I was looking up the stats. The Colts are just an average team. They excel in running the ball. They're like a top 10 offensive running. They are one of the least penalized teams in the NFL. And they also, what was the other stat? I believe the least penalized team. They are top 10 in running, and there's one other stat. But other than that, the Colts are just an average team. So I think we should have a good game against this Colts defense on the offensive side of the ball. Elijah Mitchell, he got an appetizer worth of carries in the last game. We need to increase that. Let's get him to an entree, and he should have at least 15 to 18 carries and get some carries to Trey Sermon. Definitely. Let's make this a little bit easier on Jimmy G. And I think that's our strength, running the ball. Kyle Shanahan, we got to get back to the basics. Let's run the ball. All right. So the return, number 5, the return of DeForest Buckner. I would say this is a double-edged sword for me. I'm looking forward to seeing him back at Levi Stadium. It's unfortunate it's in away colors, but it's good. It'll be good to see DeForest Buckner back. It'd be nice if he has a good game, but of course the 49ers win. I'll take that. But DeForest Buckner, he is one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. He plays that defensive tackle position. He could be lined up over Laken Tomlinson, or he could be lined up over Brunskill. If he's lined up over Brunskill, Brunskill is in for a long day. Whether it's Brunskill or Tomlinson, honestly, I think they're both in for a long day. He is, like I said, he's one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. His stats so far this year, they aren't great, but we have challenges up front. With faithful interior offensive linemen, that's where we have our biggest deficiency along the offensive line. And DeForest Buckner can definitely exploit that. I expect Shanahan to be able to scheme plays away from Buckner, similar to how we do against Aaron Donald. Just don't let Buckner blow up the game or blow up plays. We can't allow him to do that. And I trust in Shanahan that he will scheme plays. That's one thing you can't say about Shanahan. He's a great schemer. He can create plays. He has guys running open, but his play calling has definitely come into question, which, hey, that's a legit concern. But I'm looking forward to the return of DeForest Buckner, but we just got to keep him under control and don't let him win the game for the Colts. That's for sure.
Hey, Jay.
All righty. Now it's time for Hey, Jay. Thank you, everyone, for continuing to watch the stream. And we have questions from viewers. And I got to say, what's good to Gary Robbins. Thanks for tuning in to this live stream. And he says, what happened to Trent Sherfield? Hey, your guess is as good as mine, Gary. In training camp, that's all we heard. Hey, Trent Sherfield, man, he's looking good. He's taking snaps with the first team. Yeah, he's better than Brandon Ayuk. Trent Sherfield, he's one of the best receivers out there right now in training camp. He had a hell of a catch, obviously, with Trey Lance in the preseason. But in the regular season, I don't know what it is. He's not getting on the field as much as Ayuk and Debo. I think that's kind of expected. But for whatever reason, Jimmy or Trey, when they're in there, they're not throwing to Sherfield. So I don't know if this preseason greatness and training camp greatness was just a mirage, but we're not throwing to Trent Sherfield. And I think that's up to Kyle Shanahan to get him plays, to put the ball in his hand. And of course, that's up to Jimmy G. But it's weird because, we're not, Shanahan and Lynch say, well, Ayuk needs to step up. He's not playing, he's not meeting expectations. So why isn't Trent Sherfield in there? If he played great preseason and training camp, I don't understand either why Trent Sherfield is not in there. Hell, we could put him at punt return. Well, I don't see why not. But your guess is as good as mine, Gary. I can only hope that Sherfield's production will go up as the season progresses. All right, we have another question from Coach Ant. What's good? Coach Ant says, what is the biggest weakness on the Colts defense? How can the 49ers exploit it? The Colts defense is average. They're average sacking the quarterback. They're average on third down defense. They're average against the run. They're average against the pass. So I think the 49ers can do a lot of things against this defense. We should be able to run the ball effectively against this Colts defense. I think we're going to have to. I don't think we want to rely on Jimmy to throw the ball 45 to 50 times to beat this Colts defense. They have pretty good linebackers. Obviously, they got Buckner. They have Darius Leonard, and they have a middle linebacker, first name Bobby. He actually leads the team in tackles. So I think we can run the ball against his defense. We should be able to pass the ball as well. Now, the Colts defense, they are top 5 in turnovers forced. So we definitely have to play disciplined football. We can't, have dumb penalties, and we have to take care of the football. And I think that's what we'll have to do against the Colts.
Fadeaway Jay.
All right. Now it's time for Fadeaway Jay. As I mentioned before in the beginning, we're coming off the bye week. The players are well rested, and the coaching staff has had 2 weeks to prepare for this Colts team. And as I mentioned before, this Colts team is average. They come into this game with a 2-4 record. They beat the breaks off them good old Houston Texans last week, but who doesn't beat the Texans, right? Texans have only won 1 game this year. It's unfortunate because at the beginning of the season, I thought we would take care of the Colts handily. We could easily beat them by 2 touchdowns, but the 49ers team, or at least the offense, is not running on all cylinders. But I think we still have an advantage in this game. I like our matchup with our wide receivers against their corners. I think we do have an advantage along the offensive line. And Trent Williams, he did miss a second consecutive day in practice with the ankle sprain. Hopefully he's good to go. But I think if we get back to the basics, we get back to running the ball, I think that'll take care of itself, win the time of possession. And we just have to play disciplined football. We have to continue scoring in the red zone. We're still one of the best teams in scoring in the red zone. And I'm looking forward to Jimmy G being back under center. We just got to take care of the football. Take care of the football. Don't beat ourselves with penalties and turnovers, because this team, the Colts, they thrive on that. They play disciplined football. But I like our chances in this game, and expect a lot of 3-and-outs in the beginning, at least in the first quarter on the 49ers defense, on the Colts offense. I expect that, and we have to hit the ground running. If we don't score, at least double figures by halftime, that means that the Colts will still be in this game. That means that it's closer than what I would like. And we have to start the game. We have to have a touchdown drive, at least on one of the first 2 drives. It's got to be. This defense is not great. It's average. If we just take care of the ball, we run our scheme, I think we'll be just fine. And I think the 49ers will win this game. No surprise, right? I think the 49ers will win this game 27-21. I think it will be close. but I'd like the Niners to win this. And this will be our first win at home in front of the world on Sunday Night Football prime time. What could be better than getting our first win at home? So I like the Niners 27-21, and let's get it. Go Niners. Thanks for watching.